Welcome to Ranoak, my N-gauge layout. This is the third video in the series. The layout gave an overview and conducted tour of Ranoak, and me and my trains explained how I got to the current position. In this video I will explain in more detail the 6 models that move, which I call animated scenery. The montage shows the models and their inspiration, starting with the wind turbine, then the level crossing followed by the Falkirk Wheel, the vampire villa, the lawn mower, and finally the lift bridge. In the area of France that we regularly visit, the number of wind turbines continues to grow. And so when I saw the Falkirk, it was logical to get one, and it was easy to obtain an appropriate background photograph. The only addition that I have made is the flashing warning light, which is controlled by a circuit board supplied by Heathcote Electronics. There are 2 gated level crossings representing the era before warning lights were installed. The first one is a fixed static version, but the second one is a working model. The gates kit is made by Ratio. The servos that operate the gates and their electronic controllers are supplied by Heathcote Electronics. The ERDOT switches, also supplied by Heathcote Electronics, are mounted below the track and are activated by the trains to close the gates and then open them. The Falkirk Wheel, which was a Millennium project, opened in 2002, forms the link between the Forth and Clyde and the Union Canals. It replaces 11 locks. The giant structure, by means of 2 gondolas, raises and lowers boats 79 feet in a matter of 5.5 minutes. The 11 locks used to take about a day. The Forth and Clyde Canal was opened in 1790, closed in 1962, then restored and reopened in 2001. It runs from Bowling Harbour on the Clyde to the River Carron on the Firth of Forth. The Union Canal runs from Falkirk to the Lochrin Basin in Edinburgh. Using Archimedes' principle, a floating object displaces its own weight of water, means that the 2 gondolas always weigh the same with boats in them or not, and therefore the small amount of energy required to rotate the wheel is only equivalent to boiling 8 kettles. As the wheel rotates, the 2 gondolas are always kept in the upright position by a simple system of gears. 2 8-metre diameter outer cog rings attached to the gondolas orbit a fixed cog of the same diameter. 2 smaller cogs connect the inner and outer rings, thus ensuring that as the wheel rotates, the gondolas remain level. I was very grateful to the Water Authority, who sent me some working drawings, from which I could print full-size N-gauge drawings, thus enabling to make a realistic scale model. The shape of the wheel replicates a Celtic axe. This model is also operated by a train passing over a track switch mounted below the track. The magic for me of the Falkirk Wheel are the 2 very simple principles that make this massive and complex machine work. The first is that no matter what is in each gondola, as long as the water level is the same, they will be balanced. The second is the simple gearing system that keeps each gondola horizontal. The Vampire Villa is, I think, where my son tried to inject some drama into the layout with the Volmer kit that he found. Not to mention some indiscreet figures from Knock's risque range, but more of them later, perhaps. With the Vampire Villa we move from miniature realism to miniature fantasy. For the inspiration I have borrowed from the internet images of Bran Castle in Romania, a castle that resembles that described in the fictional Dracula novel by Bram Stoker. Now, where to place this model? Based on memories of the horror film, meant perhaps near a church, on top of a cliff, and surrounded by thick woodlands. Well, I did my best. I saw this model at an exhibition, and as I had spent hours on my mower, I thought it would be a great addition to the layout. The kit was not difficult to build. It is operated by a continuous rubber belt which has a couple of very small magnets attached. These correspond with ones fitted onto the tractor mower. The original idea was to scratch build the house and garden where I had spent many hours cutting the grass, but the village green does seem more appropriate. It does appear that this model is no longer available, which is sad. I came across the Ivy House lift bridge on a rotary canal trip in 1999, and when designing the layout thought it would be an excellent feature on the canal scene, so I set about a scratch build. The Ivy House lift bridge is a steel lift bridge carrying a public road over the Colden Canal in Stoke-on-Trent. It was built in 1986 by John Lang Construction Limited. I have here shown some photographs of the model under construction and its incorporation into the canal scene. The sequence is triggered by a train crossing at Ranoak track switch, which closes the barriers. When closed, the bridge lifting servo is activated. This is controlled by a timer switch, which will then release the bridge to lower, and then in turn the barriers to open. I hope that you have enjoyed seeing my animated scenery, which I believe adds a little more realism to Ranoak, my Engage layout.